Stephanie, I'll let you, I think we'll go ahead and get started. I'll let you kick it off, girl.
Oh, geez. Hey, guys. Thanks for joining us. I'm super excited that you guys are carving some time out tonight so that you can jump on this call with us. So it's really just been on my mind a lot with that convention contest and watching the credits and kind of changing my goals when I realized, oh, wow, I should dream bigger, kind of, what we've all talked about before at some point or another. And shout out to you, Adrian, man, going for the whole thing, man. I love it. I'm like,
Why not? Well, why not? It's there.
oh, after she said that, I'm like, well, shoot, I should do that too. But I'm like, oh no, that's really scary.
Yeah,
But
not scary at all.
for me, whenever I put mine out there on the page when we were all sharing ours today, like that's huge for me. And I was just kind of thinking about convention. I was thinking about how many new people we added to the team last month, and I was hoping some of them would be on the call. Maybe they'll listen to it later. Because, I mean, that's really who I want to target it to. Of course, all of us who have been to a convention before, we know firsthand how important it is. But all the newbies who think, oh, whatever, I don't need to go, or I'm too new, it doesn't matter. It absolutely does matter. Most of you guys know that I had 4 years with Plexus just last week. But, my story is a little bit different because I took 2 years off in the middle of that journey while I was going through my divorce and just going through some personal stuff. I quit using the products consistently. I rarely took them. Every once in a while I would drink Slim, or every once in a while I'd take a probiotic. So obviously none of that was effective. And I, maintained my customer base for a while, and then eventually I quit working my business altogether too, even though I stayed active as an ambassador. So anyway, I really did not commit to working my business consistently until January of last year, 2017. Now, I will tell you, I was thinking about getting ready for this call tonight, and I was kind of thinking about, well, no, I started working my business again back in 2016 when I started taking the products consistently again at the end of May of 2016. And when I get real with myself, I wasn't working my business. I was posting on Facebook. But as somebody pointed out a long time ago, I don't remember who it was, maybe Victor Antonio or something, I don't remember, at an event I was at with Plexus, that, posting on Facebook does not mean you're working your business. That may be part of your business plan, but that doesn't mean you're really working your business. And when I really looked hard and analyzed and got real with myself, he was right. I mean, I was back in 2016 when I started to, what I thought was working my business again. I would, go on Facebook to post and go on to engage in, people's posts like they talk about and everything. But the next thing you know, I had been on Facebook for 2 hours, and I was, down some rabbit hole, like, liking a video and laughing along. And, how many of you guys can relate to that, right? Where you're like, you're not even really doing any kind of income producing activity. You're just kind of lost in social media world, and you're like, how did I get here? So it really was not productive. So anyway, I was thinking about going to my first convention last year, and Nicole jumped in and helped me with that, because Nicole definitely had to talk me into that, you guys. I'm not even going to sugarcoat that. I was on the fence, up until like so late, because I wanted to go, but then I was like, no, I didn't want to spend the money. I had other trips going on, and I was like, well, is it really that important? And you always hear.
I'm not one to pressure, but I must have left 15 voicemails for her, and I'm like, it's not an option. Like, so figure out what you have to do to get there and be there, because you worked so hard and you deserve to be there. So yeah.
It was one of those things where you hear those cliches like, oh, leaders are born at events, and your business changes. I had heard all of those many times in Plexus, and I was like, yeah. It was just like, I don't know. But then when you get there and you're like, holy cow, and especially not even when you're just there. For me, after I left and I realized something was different inside of me. Like, I don't know how many of you guys listen to country music, but there's an old song by Garth Brooks, and it's called Standing Outside the Fire. And that's what I felt like I was doing for a long time, is I was standing outside that fire looking in, and I thought I had fire in me because I loved Plexus and I loved what it was doing for me once I was consistent with the products. But after I left convention, that's when I realized, holy cow, like, now I'm in the fire. Like, it is burning, it's lit, and I had whole other goals and dreams. It just kind of really woke everything up. So Nicole, I appreciate you staying on me and convincing me that I absolutely needed to be there, because Nicole knew what she was talking about. She had been several times before, and she knew how important that was.
Well, and I'd like to, Amanda, I always talk about this because I think it's so cool, is that I can totally envision it too, because Marty and I were outside by the pool, and Amanda, we had never met Amanda before in person, and we were like, hey, come to the pool, we're out here. And I mean, it's just a sea of people. And Amanda's walking around by herself, and in her mind, and Amanda, I'll let you totally speak up, but she was like, what the hell am I doing here? Like, why am I here? This is so ridiculous.
Yeah, I couldn't find you guys. I was hungry. I had to sit and eat by myself. And I'm like watching all these people, all these groups of people chatting and excited. And I'm like, what the hell am I doing? This is crazy. But then by the end, I'm like, I'm so glad, this was awesome.
At the end, she's crying in the theater, like in the big, and it, I mean, we all had tears for different reasons, for stories and things, but it's so awesome to see that transition of like, you have to be on that verge of, is this for me? Is this not for me? Do I believe in this? Do I not? And then you get in and you're surrounded with all of this crazy belief, and you just have no choice but to go forward with it. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's so true, Nicole. Like, even if you have belief, it's going to be magnified 100 times, when you get there. And if you don't have belief, you're wavering, oh my gosh, is that the place to get it? Because you're there with 10,000 people who are passionate about it as well. Every single person in that arena has a story, has a life-changing story, whether the products change their lives or their family members or spouse, whatever. And, there's nobody in there that has skeptical families. There's skeptical family members are not in there, skeptical coworkers, the naysayers. Those people aren't in there. Well, maybe they are. Some of the spouses are in there like that. And so they're getting a dose of like, holy cow, this is the real thing, right? But it's so true. Convention's really important to change your mindset, to encourage you to push your limits and push your dreams and to dream bigger, and to build your belief in the products, to build your belief in the company, to build your belief in yourself. I mean, the other thing too is when you're at convention, you're exposed to all of this amazing training, which you can then put on your resume. So many of us are, still out in corporate America or working day jobs or whatever else. And, ultimately a lot of us, don't want to do that. We want to do Plexus full time or whatever. And that may take a while. And some people don't want to do Plexus full time. So, I mean, think about putting that on your resume under professional development, that you've been trained by Les Brown, best-selling author, that you've been trained by Victor Antonio, that you've been trained by Carrie Wilkerson. I mean, it's just huge, the exposure that you get to these huge business mentors. Don't you think, Nicole?
No, well, that's what I was going to say, because we have amazing speakers and authors, and I know that, when they have as many ambassadors in one place, they want the best of the best because they want to train their people the best of the best. So just being in that environment, I mean, we talk about leaders retreat and convention. Leaders retreat, yes, is set apart, but convention, I feel like if you get yourself to convention and you build that belief and you light that fire within you, the next step is leaders retreat. It's so many people at convention that went to leaders retreat. And you can do this without I remember, so my first convention that I had the opportunity to go to, I heard the word from Jen, convention, and I was like, no, not going to happen. And maybe because I work in events, I thought it was going to be this overwhelming thing that I just didn't know about. And I started seeing pictures and started getting a little bit like, well, maybe I should have gone. Well, the next year I went, my second year, I had 7 people on my team total. And my only goal was to earn back my registration fee. And I wasn't keeping track of the other things because I didn't really, at that point, I still wasn't dreaming big. I still didn't understand where I fit into all this. But even with just 7 people on my team, I mean, the way that they have this convention contest set up is that you have control over a lot of the areas where your points come from, like your PV. You have control over that. You have control of how many messages you put out there, how many customers you're getting. But so when my goal was to earn back my registration fee, I ended up hitting winner's dinner without even like keeping track. Didn't even think that was a possibility. I didn't see it for myself in there. But now I'm telling you, like, whatever you want out of this, write it down, put it on your mirror and look at it every single day and have that visual of when you wake up, you're like, I'm going to winner's dinner. Not, I hope I get it. I'm going. Like, you guys are going. And it's something that it's a fun event and a fun, even just that alone. But look at that contest here. and don't limit yourself. Like, I'm totally disappointed with my answer, Adrian, after you saw, I'm like, of course, like we should all have that top number. Like, let's have that. Why not? There's silver ambassadors that are starting now that could be on the stage in June. I mean, we've seen it happen before as ambassadors. I mean, it's just a no-brainer of what you can control out of this is your PV, but you can also control, which is a new component this year, which is new preferred or retail customer enrollments. Not only do you get points for your own, but you get points 4 levels deep. So what you can control is duplicating the efforts for you new ambassadors that are joining you to start sharing, to start getting customers on, because that's going to drive your points up. And that's something that we can control this time too.
Yeah, and one thing I want to throw out there just to make sure you guys don't make the same mistake I did. So I have been chasing Consistency Club every month and trying to fulfill that so that I earn that for the first time this year at convention and get recognized. And for that, the PV has to be over $50 for their initial order. The convention credit is different. A new customer has to have $75 in PV or more to count to get you those 10 points, and then to also get you the recurring points monthly after that. So I did not pay close enough attention to the contest rules, and I thought it was 50 PV. So my 4 new customers in January, that would have been 40 points. I didn't get a single point for any of them because they were all between like 54 and 69 PV. So they fell short of that 75. So just something to, know that all those facts and rules and things like that are available in your virtual office. Have all of you guys been in there and played around with that part of the convention contest? I mean, it gives you lots of good information where your points are listed.
Yeah, I'd love to go around. I know you guys put your points of what you like, how many points that you want, but like, what are you going after? Like, what's like the big thing that you want out of like what on that level tier? What's the big thing that you want? I'd love to hear. I'm gonna write it.
We can just go straight through the list. Adrian, what about you? Yours is the $2,100 cash, right? The biggest one.
Well, I'm a go big, go home kind of person. So, I mean, that's what's available, and that's what I'm going for. That's just my personality. But, this is my first time going, so I have a whole, crap ton of expectations. I just want to get there, and experience and do all the fun things and learn and grow. So, for me, it's like the contest is great. That's a great bonus, and I definitely am going to try for the 2,100 points, but getting there is my ultimate goal.
Awesome. What about you, Stacy?
I'll take any of that cash. $100, $500, all the above.
Yeah, I can't remember. Was the 500? That was 1,200 points, right? Or no?
Hold on.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, 1,200.
Okay. Sounds good. And then what about Ruth? Ruth is going for winner's dinner, right?
Yes. I think I was going for the cash though too. Wasn't it 500?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The very next step up. Yep.
Yeah. That's what I'm shooting for. But honestly, once I again saw Adrian's, I'm like, why not? Go for it.
I know, right?
I always like to try to say what is like, if I can map it out, like what's attainable. But I'm like,
no. Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah. So you got all of us. That's really good.
Why sell yourself short? Really, why do you have that cap when you've got this?
Well,
why are you stopping here when you've got this?
So for me, the contest aside, my goal that I've been really focusing on is going Ruby because I want to be eligible for the Over Yonder K trip, like for the drawing for that. So I don't know where that fits with the contest. But it's a big goal for me to get there by convention, but that's been kind of what I've had in my mind.
Yeah. Awesome.
That's awesome.
I think that's the thing too, to speak to for everybody who's not been to convention, or especially the brand new ambassadors. When I went to convention last year, I don't even know what my points were because I considered myself so far out of the running because I was rebuilding my business from the ground up. I don't even know what I had. Maybe I had 75 points. I don't really know. Maybe I had 100, but I didn't even pay attention to my points. I didn't even set goals or strive because I thought, oh, I'm just so far out of it, you know? And so don't do that. Absolutely don't do it. I mean, hit it hard now, and then, you know, definitely don't wait till the end to kick on your afterburners. Like, come out of the gate hitting it hard and just be consistent all the way till the end, you know? So,
I was gonna say, make sure to educate your new people that this is not something they have to earn. Like, convention you don't have to earn, that you have the opportunity to go. Because I think that confuses a lot of people, that they don't think they're eligible because maybe they just hear the word convention and they see this tiered contest and they just don't think that they're eligible. But I think
that's a great point.
People there who might not even know if they're on the verge of wanting to work the business. I mean, obviously we're going to have a blast. Pillow talk with Marty and I from last year. But I mean, no, it's true. It's just a team environment. You're around a big group of people and you're going to learn about the new product that's coming out. So whether or not you're in this for the business or not, I think that this is an awesome opportunity to make sure you tell your friends who joined that they should come with you. And I will say, I know we haven't figured out exactly, like, we have the room situation figured, but we don't know who's staying where. We have four or five rooms available at the Radisson celebration, and those rooms are freaking Karen Ritchie is awesome. She got rooms for $60 a night. So if you have 4 girls in a room, you guys are going to pay a total of $60 for the whole time, which is awesome.
Crazy.
Then we have another group of rooms at the Marriott World Center, where the convention is, for $89 a night. So again, if we're sharing in a room, the most you'll pay is $89 for the whole time, which is awesome. So my goal for you guys is to get yourselves there and then to make it as cheap as possible. So, you know, trying to pull out the perks of park hopper passes and stuff, but we use those for leaders retreats. So I don't know if those are available, but either way, I mean, it's so worth it if cost is an option for you or for anyone that's thinking about going. I mean, there's tons of opportunities. You can road trip. I know it's a long way, but if it's worth it, people are coming from, you know, New Zealand. Like, I mean, people come from all over the world where Plexus is to be there, and we have this short distance. And so just to get yourself there. One thing I want to say with the dates. So it does say, I think if you do earn the black tie gala, that is on Wednesday. Otherwise, the convention starts on Thursday in the early afternoon. So.
Yeah.
Matt and I are going. Well, that's happening. And so, but I'm trying to get Mickey and Stephanie going. So it's kind of like a money thing for them, but I'm like, I don't care. Like, I'll pay like your way and then you can pay me back. But like, you guys have to get there. So I'm trying to get them there. So.
Right.
Does anybody have like flights booked yet? I know that I'm waiting. I keep waiting for them to go down, which is like the common trend that I do, and then I screw myself over.
I was going to mention something I found today. I was looking again at flights on Southwest. Southwest continues to add more flights, I'm sure, because they keep selling out already, you know, thanks to us. I don't know. I personally would like to book this flight, but, you know, I don't know if I might have somebody coming with me, so I have to wait for a while to know if I'm going to be able, you know, to book that or not. But I want to pass it along to you guys in case it's an option for you. Flying in the night before, so flying in late Wednesday night, you know, now granted, you would have to be able to get a lodging for that night too. But instead of paying $250 to $300, you know, it's anywhere between what I've seen on Southwest and Frontier is anywhere between $176 and like $250 just to get down there, like one way. And so they've added a flight now the night before, late at night. I think it leaves St. Louis at like, I think 7:30 or something at night. And it gets in at like midnight to Orlando, and it's $92.
Wow.
So,
On
yeah,
Southwest?
it's a great, huh?
On Southwest?
Yeah, Southwest. I just saw today. I did not see it last week when I looked. So I think it might have just got added recently.
Okay.
Scroll all the way down. It's like Wednesday, June 6th. Scroll all the way down to the last flight of the night. It's a nonstop flight, $92 into Orlando. You know, if you can get lodging for that night, you know, even if it's at another hotel or something. But and then, you know, the convention general session, like you said, if you don't earn the black tie gala, general session doesn't start till 3:30 the next afternoon anyway. So even if you don't get to the hotel and to bed until 2 o'clock in the morning, you don't have to get up super early, you know? So that's just one option that I just happen to see.
It's like
I booked mine already.
all night.
I booked mine through Southwest. Beck and I booked one that leaves on Wednesday morning, and it's nonstop, and then it leaves Sunday morning. And we paid $381, but it was already to fill up at the time, so I just jumped on it while I could, so that way we could be on the same flight.
Right. Yeah, I noticed even Frontier, because I flew Frontier, a couple of us flew Frontier to Leaders Retreat. I flew back Southwest, but I flew down Frontier. But even this time around, Frontier's even like 176 just going down or something. So it's kind of crazy. But another option might be that I was looking at either flying into Tampa and driving over. Now, obviously, that would not be ideal for just 1 or 2 people, you know, but if there was 4, 5, 6 people that would share a rent-a-car, or you could even Uber. I talked to an Uber driver when I was at Leaders Retreat in Orlando, and it's $90 to go from Tampa to Orlando or vice versa typically. So it's not cheap, but if you're splitting that 4 ways, and Tampa is usually a lot cheaper to fly into, you know, than Orlando. So there's just certain ways that, you know, we might have to get creative and kind of think outside of the box, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome info.
Hey, one other thing I wanted to mention too, for those of you who have not been, or maybe you've been and your budget's different this year. So when I went to convention last year, I did grocery delivery. And so I did that for a couple of reasons. I wanted to make sure I stayed on point with my water intake, because I know me, and if I didn't have bottled water and all that other stuff, that I would be way below on my water intake. And then I also did not want to be eating junk fast food. I don't really eat fast food that much at home. So I know that it doesn't agree with my stomach if I start eating all that while I'm traveling. And then also it was just cheaper. So, and there was a time thing too, because I had heard from other people who had been to convention, you know, that the restaurants are really busy, because as you can imagine, 10,000 of us get out of general session at once, and we're all looking for somewhere to eat. Well, while you can go off site, you know, that's fine. But you only have an hour, or maybe some of the days you have an hour and a half, you know, or something like that in between sessions. So by the time you're trying to use a restaurant on site, you know, some kind of fast food restaurant on site with 10,000 people, I mean, you have usually like 15 minutes to scarf your lunch down, because the other 45 minutes or an hour is waiting in line. Don't you guys think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was another thing that worked out really well for me that might help, you know, anybody out there looking, is I had grocery delivery done because I had, you know, I didn't live there. So of course I was considered a new customer. So they waived the $20 fee. There was no delivery fee. I bought groceries, you know, like stuff to make, like, you know, breakfast, and then to pack my lunch, I, you know, just packed my 31 soft-sided lunch bag and brought it with me, put my waters in there, my snack, my lunch, whatever. And then it also saved time. I didn't have to go back up to the room and make it or anything like that. I just took it with me. So it saved a lot of time to where I could actually network, meet new people, and eat my lunch, you know, without rushing around with 10,000 people. So that was just something that worked good for me that might help you guys.
Yeah. I was gonna really quick, going back to the contest here. You know, I think last year we were trying to come up with these special formulas, like if you have this many customers and this many ambassadors and you average this amount per month, and I think that's great. But when it comes down to it, I think, again, daily activity. Print out a blank calendar of February if you have not. I know we are already on, tomorrow's the 6th. Print out a blank calendar. Thanks, Sarah. I'm like, what day is it? Print out a blank calendar, write 3 names, so that you can take those 3 names on each day and put it under the share plexus with people. I'm telling you, you guys, this is going to be your answer, where we're telling you where you can have the points to control your PV, help duplicate with your new people these 2 sheets. Because what I would recommend right now, they made it really easy this year to know what your credits are. Last year, it was like you couldn't find them, and you'd wait and like, where am I? So it was really hard to project. But if you go into your back office, it will be there under convention credits. The 50 points, thank you, Adrian, for letting me know that, has already been added. If you registered for Super Saturday and you had those 50 points, they've already been added in. Take that number, what you have now, set up a call with your sponsor, and goal set. of if you want that plan to have those goals to help you get where you are. Also take that number for yourself and figure out how many people where does your time need to be spent? You know, they say if you're thinking about, like, when you're tracking things, when we track, things will grow. So if you're thinking about your numbers of your time and percentages, spend maybe 30% on your new people, 30% of your time on your new people. Reach out to them, get them the information they need, help it become duplicatable for them, so that you're not leaving behind. But spend 50% of your time on your own business, hitting your own goals, daily activity, reaching out, building new relationships. It's just, that's what is going to set you apart from your goal of hitting.
And when they think those flights might change, you can be watching it. So if any of the prices drop, you're going to get a notification on your phone. And one of the hey, Nicole, welcome back.
Sorry, I don't know what happened.
And so, like, I just did one really quick for me, and I'm not coming from St. Louis, but from where I am, like, it says until May 16th, prices will vary over the next 3 months, dropping as low as $153 round trip. Like, so, and it says when the prices will probably increase. So it's worth it to
awesome.
add it as a watching, and then you never know if you haven't booked and then you see something really good pop up, jump on it.
Yeah. Thanks for telling us about that, Marty.
Sure.
Downloading it right now.
Done.
What was that? What did you say, Marty? What was the link?
There's an app called Hopper, Nicole, that you can check out flights. It's like a little icon of a bunny when you look for it.
Nicole, I was going to ask you too, or Marty, any of you who was at convention last year, I cannot remember who stood on convention while we were talking about budget and expenses and all that stuff. One of the Jules or something, I don't remember if it was Jennifer Leith or who, she stood on stage last year and said, how many of y'all, raise your hand if this is your first convention, and huge, like half or more of the stadium raised their hand, and whatever. And she said, yes. Do you remember she said something about, yeah, how many of y'all are here eating granola bars every day and, yada, yada, just so you could be here. You're not eating out with your friends. You're eating granola bars. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, it was just kind of to let people know that they're normal. I mean, it's a sacrifice.
Yeah. Whoever that was speaking, I remember that resonated with me because I wasn't on quite that level, but it stuck with me that was somebody up there now making hundreds of $1,000s a month, but they didn't let, when they first started coming to convention, they were just like everybody else too and needed to watch their budget, and they were going to get there no matter what, to get that exposure, even if they couldn't go out to eat with their team or do whatever. And so there's plenty of people on all different scales, people that are not worried about a budget and people that have a really small budget and people that have a middle budget. So, I mean, don't let any of that intimidate you. If you want to go, talk to us, like all of us will figure out a way, whether that's putting an extra person in a room or doing whatever. I mean, it truly is one plexus. Like, I roomed with last year, I flew out with Nicole, who, I had only met 5 months before that or whatever. But I didn't even room with Nicole. Nicole and Marty roomed together, and I roomed with Amanda Rossi in Chicago, which I didn't even know. And it worked out awesome because, here it was a great way to network and meet somebody new. And then now Amanda and I have maintained our friendship, and I really admire her as a friend. So, I mean, there's just lots of really good stuff that comes out of convention, you guys, besides all the fun that we have. So
I think it's going to be a really great group this year. I feel like we have 13 or 14 people committed, which makes me so excited and so happy. A little bit different of a component because I know that when we were there last year, there was a small group of us and we would go to dinners together. And I'm still hoping for all of us, it's Orlando, so it's fun. So obviously everybody can go do their own thing. But I think with a group of us like that, we're going to be representing. And I think Ruth came up with maybe some T-shirts.
Can I tell you guys something? So just to do a little bit of a comparison. So I have a couple of friends. One of my best friends I went to school with, his wife does It Works. Okay. And another girl that I went to school with does It Works. And they're kind of like synced in, but then like they had conference last week. So, I was seeing all the pictures and everything. And they were like so divided, you guys. Like they Artie had her group of friends, and then Christy had her like little group of friends, but it's like you never saw them together. And it was kind kind of made me sad for them because it's like, you know, I know that what we have here, and it's like we're always like grouped together and we're always one. So it's just kind of made me go like, I can't wait till convention because our group is big and it's huge, and I can't wait to like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It just made me see like how different we are compared to like companies like that. I feel like.
No, it's,
You know,
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Nicole.
Oh no, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, Adrian and I that are It Works distributor too. So I was seeing some of their pictures and everything as well in the last week. They always hold theirs in Tampa at the arena. So it's huge. I mean, their attendance is not that. They only, you know, they block off and only use half of the arena, come to find out, because I was asking a whole lot of questions about that. But yeah, like you said, they're very separated. They don't really do much in packs. They have tons of free time. You know, Plexus is not like that. That's the other thing is, obviously you're an adult, so you can pick and choose what you want to go to, what you want to skip or whatever. You know, my theory on it last year when I went was, if I spent money to get to convention, I wasn't going to skip all the afternoon sessions. You know, some people did that. They only went to morning sessions, and then, you know, they went and did other stuff during the afternoon. I was as much of that in as possible, but, you know, to each their own. But, you know, Plexus, that's the other thing. When you're figuring out if you can afford to go and all that stuff, we don't have a ton of free time. So if you plan on going for, you know, the actual convention and doing their activities, you don't need a big budget for entertainment or any of that, right, Nicole? I mean, because there's just, I mean, they pack so much in.
Right. Yeah, it's really all about filling up the schedule and having the accommodations be as inexpensive as possible, and bringing a notebook and a pen and soaking it all in, because you are going to leave and you are going to have, I like your song analogy stuff, like standing beside the fire. You are going to be so, like, you're going to come home and just be like exploding with excitement that there's not a way to put it except you're going to annoy a lot of people in a great way. Like, not really annoy, but you know what I mean? You're going to come home and you're just going to flow. Like, it's going to start, you're going to not be able to, you're going to think that you're doing a service by not telling people. Because if you're still at a point where you feel like you're bothering people, your belief's not big enough, and you go to convention and you build that belief, and you're going to come home and you're going to be like, I have what you have. And if you take it, that's awesome. And if not, then I'm on to the next one that will. And that's kind of the attitude, that boldness that you'll get, in that confidence.
It's so true. That's so well put, Nicole. Like, you know, just to give some insight too for people who haven't been to convention. For those of you who have been to convention, I'd be curious to see, Ruth, Nicole, Sarah, any of you guys who have already been, to weigh in and see if this held true for you too. I was looking back at my commission summary and all that for last year. For the month before I went to convention, compared to my first commission check after convention, just to show what changed, because I mean, my business absolutely was changed by convention, by attending convention. My paycheck was 3 times the amount as it was before I went to convention. The first check after convention was 3 times the amount.
Convention was in June? May?
Into May, yeah. And then, yeah, it ended on like June 2nd or something, yeah.
I mean, mine was $700 more than it had been.
Yeah.
Well, in August, I think that was my highest. But, I mean, it just kept steadily climbing.
Yeah, mine has continued to climb since, every single month, yes. But, like, I was just comparing, like, the check before convention and the first check after convention. And just that one check alone was 3 times what it had been. And then it's, like you said, it's continued to climb every single month since. So, I mean, it's definitely not fluff, you guys, or something to all the rah-rah. And honestly, I remember sitting there a few times in convention, like, you know, on the second or third day and being like, oh, yeah, we get it, rah, 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 you know, like, and I'm a positive person, but even that, you know, but you guys, it's so true. Like, they know what they're doing. It's sinking in, you know, and some things apply to everybody. You know, not everything applies to everybody, but you're going to get so much out of it. You know, everybody's situation is different.
And there is such an electricity in being in that huge group, and all of us working, you know, not having that competition with one another, but having the, like, that equal desire to give this gift. Like, there is something that, like, there is an electricity. That's all you can say. you feel connected. You feel like when I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it, but when they announce a new product, I mean, you cannot stop smiling. Like, it's so exciting.
Well, and then even like, Saturday night when they did the private concert for all of us with Kelly Clarkson, I mean, and there was, oh gosh, who all was it? Me, Marty, Nicole, Amanda, Marianne, a whole bunch of us, sitting together. And, it's like all of a sudden you're 15 again, like waiting for the concert to start, and you're there with all of your girlfriends. It was just like, I mean, we were taking obnoxious pictures and all kinds of stuff, right?
Oh, yeah. Ruth worn a baby Bjorn at her first convention, so.
My best advice when you're traveling with Nicole and Marty and some of these yahoos is take your edge at like 5, because if you're the first one to fall asleep, there are incriminating photos that come out afterwards. They serenaded to.
Right.
Ruthie, I'm going to come snuggle you this year.
Yeah, you are.
If anybody can fly the Chris Farley impersonator to Orlando, I will give you $1,000. We'll be very close to my 40th birthday. $1,000 to be on the line.
Okay, noted.
I jumped to
Right.
75, so I'm shudder to think what 1,000 might do.
No, I mean, what I was saying before I got cut off, I was just saying whatever you can do right now is to just keep focusing on recruiting personal level ones and customers, and because what your actions are doing is going to be duplicatable down to your team. And if they're seeing you work, they're going to get excited, you're going to get excited, and it's just going to create this momentum. So again, if you do not have a team, if you do not have a customer base, it does not mean that you can't earn any of those prizes. Like it's so doable. This contest is 4.5 months long, retroactive back to January 1st. So with where you are right now, keep that number in your head, reach out to your sponsor, let them know that number and set it together. And then, but don't think that it's not out of the question. Like I'm going to change my goal on that group comment. So thank you, Adrian, changing it.
And Stephanie, I just want to say that I didn't even really think about it because I went to my first convention, and this was my second year last year. So this will be my third time. When I first went, I was just like, yeah, I'll go. This will be great. I was certainly got excited about it and whatnot, but I didn't look at how it affected my pay. And even this past year, I didn't look at how it affected my pay. But as you guys are talking about it, and Ruth, when you said I think you might have said your August was your biggest month or what have you. August is when I went gold, and I just did not even make that connection until right now. So
that's amazing.
I mean, even for me, I have a tendency to get in my own damn way, right, Nicole? So
in the club, my friend.
So anyway, I mean, thank you, because that was just a little bit of an awakening and something that helped light a little bit more fire for myself. So
yeah, you're welcome.
Anybody who's listening, that's definitely something I hope it helps. Even people watching this after the fact, I hope that helps them.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Marty.
Well, like I used to be an event planner, and I did events for Dell, like the computer Dell. And let me tell you, they can throw some stuff, right? So we planned some pretty big events. And when they had their big Dell World happen in Austin, even like I like it's Dell, it's like computer geeks, right? So, but like I got fired up over Dell, and I know, and I'm not even passionate about that. Like I could have cared less about that at all. But so it's like, I know, like if I can get fired up by planning events for people like that, then I know that this is going to be huge.
Yeah. And Nicole, you made a great connection earlier that I had not thought about, is you were saying those of us in our small group that went to convention last year together, we all went to Leaders Retreat.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I had not made that connection, that last year was my first convention, and was making peanuts and stuff and building my business totally over, had built it up by May, finally right before convention. And then, and then it just took off from there. But then I also earned Leaders Retreat last year. And I've just been building a team. I'm stronger on the customer side than I am on recruiting and duplicating. That's something that I've got to get better at personally. So like all of those points for Leaders Retreat, I earned those. I didn't have a team. I got myself there. And so I never made that connection that until you just pointed it out that, it wasn't a coincidence that I was at convention and then a few months later also earned leaders retreat, and now I'm on target. I've hit consistency club every month, but 2 months. So I'm on target to, hit the qualifying. You have to qualify 8 out of 11 months to get that. And I'm on track for that, just so many things that are completely, just a huge spin in my business. So, man, you guys, the blessings are out there.
I know they are. Annette, we got to get you there. We got to get Merit's approval. I'm making it happen.
Merit's approval?
She has her regionals. It's like she leads that whole team, but we're going to do it. I don't know how, but we're doing it.
Yeah, we're not allowed vacation during May or June.
I'm not either, Annette.
God, that is so silly.
Yeah, we got to figure it out.
I would love that.
Yes. All right, you doctors know it's fine.
Hey,
American problems.
I wanted to share 2 things too. 2, I guess, quotes that really stick with me is one of them I heard at convention was starve your distractions and feed your focus. And that's something I keep reminding myself ever since then, starve your distractions and feed your focus. Because, we all have things that we can let distract us. At some point you just have to say, okay, that cannot distract me right now. I'm chasing this dream kind of thing. And then sometimes there are some things that have to distract us. We don't have a choice, And then the other thing too, since convention is I love Les Brown, and he was one of our speakers, and he said so many amazing things. Oh my gosh. But the one thing that was really simple that I hear every single day when I wake up, I hear his voice inside my head, that growly, deep voice that he used when he said this. And he said, you got to be hungry, but he said it in his voice, and it was that's so true. And I hear that every day since convention now, because it's especially at the end of the month, or the same thing at the end of January when I was trying to hit, I had a personal goal for my PV, and then I hit it a couple days before the end of the month. Well, then I thought, well, shit, I'm close enough to hitting this other goal and I'll get 75 more points on the convention credit contest. So let me just chase after that. So, in those last 24 hours, I got that extra $167 and put me at another goal, another credit level, and gave me 75 more, points. So just keep believing, believe all the way up to the very end and just chase it. Don't ever give up. I had a new customer, one of the 4 new customers I had at the end of the month. I had no idea. She doesn't like any of my stuff. She doesn't comment. She's never asked me about anything. I've contacted her several times about the business, about the products. Nothing. She just iced me. She put me on ice, never replies. And then at the end of the month, she wants to order, triplex. It's what? So, just they're out there, you guys.
Does anybody have anything else before we end it?
I'm just excited I get to go.
Me too.
Because we're poor. So, teacher life, grad school life. What up?
You're not
You're
poor.
going to absolutely come home, Sarah, and you're going to just.
Yeah. Well, it was one of those things when they announced, that we were getting that discount on Super Saturday, I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
There's no excuse not to. I would be remiss and stupid and ignorant to not do this. And then I didn't tell my husband until 2 weeks ago that I was going to Orlando.
I think that's a lot of us listening.
Yeah.
You register and then you figure out how to spell it.
Yeah.
Bruce's husband thinks that she's going to Target.
Well,
I said, your husband thinks you're going to Target. You don't know what you're going to say after that.
I said,
Well,
I'll be back in just
and he was like, what do you mean you're going to Orlando? I was like, convention. He was like, wait, Maddie, I said, I'm saving. Don't worry about it. And then literally before the Zoom call comes in, he was like, okay, so I think for Valentine's Day, what we're going to do is get you new luggage for your Orlando trip. And I was like, oh, well then.
Awesome.
Awesome.
So.
I love it.
That's awesome.
Aw. I think
I'm just really excited.
I am excited too. You're gonna have. It's not only is it so much learning, it's the best 3 days ever.
Yeah. I haven't been to Florida since I was 1, so
there you go.
I just I love like the whole team collaboration. I'm a big like collaborator. I like to huddle up and I like to be with my people. Like that's what drives me. Like that's what gets me there. It's like not like prizes, that's great. Like I'm not driven on prizes, it's people. And the atmosphere and just everyone and the inspiration, like that's what I'm like stoked about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love it. Well, Jen Hawkins is going to seek us out too. She always wants to find where we are so she can give us all hugs. She's very far and few between. We'll probably see her on stage training. But do
we have like any idea or do they announce like ahead of time like who speakers are going to be, or like did you guys know like way ahead of time that Les Brown was going to be in?
They announced those things leading up to it.
Yes,
by email.
I think when they probably open the registration again, they'll probably have that information out there, if not shortly after, to help build momentum and to bring people in. But even entertainment, that was like a huge announcement last year.
Yep.
Yeah, I want to know who that concert's going to be.
Who was the band?
Little Big Town.
Little Big Town, that's right. That was fun.
Yeah.
I like Kelly Clarkson better.
Ago.
I just want to know who it's going to be.
If they get Justin Timberlake,
shut up.
me out on a gurney.
Shut your mouth.
Hold on, doesn't he?
What convention?
I know, right? I'm going with him. I gotta like find a hitman for Jessica Biel. Gosh.
Nice, Ruth. We're recording this, and now it's evidence.
I will totally own that every day.
So homework after this call: get your number, write it down, send it to your sponsor, set up a call, and let's set some goals. And we'll have another like recap, touching base to see where everybody is before. Maybe even like once a month per contest, just to kind of have some. Maybe the next one, storming and different things of that sort, so we can kind of all get on the same page and see what's working for other people and what's not working.
And don't forget, you guys, I mean, I really believe in this visualization and like believing with your whole heart that the universe like wants you to have what you desire. And so you have to be specific. So, I mean, if you guys can like write it down, like how many, what's the number that you need to get to your goal? What's the number that you need this month, next month? Focus on it, read it, write it, put it in repeat it again or your Think Up app. Like tell yourself over and over and over again. One of the books I'm reading, I can't remember. Oh, it's Jen Sincero, the You're a Badass at Making Money. Like, it's amazing. But she talks about like you would not go into a deli and say, I want a sandwich, and like trust in the fact that they're going to give you the exact sandwich that you want, like exactly how you like it. So you have to be as specific as possible with the universe. Like I was telling my team, like I wrote a letter to the universe and it was exactly how much money I need in 2018, how much I need by this time, what it's going to be used for. Like I broke it down dollars and cents, like as much as it's going to cost to finish our basement. Like I priced everything out. So I just think that so when I sit down and I like do 10 minutes to meditate, I think about that number. I think about how it feels to pay off our credit card, to pay off our cars, like all those things. So I think that that's something that you guys can include in the next couple months as we're going through this contest, is really like focus on that number and then visualize what that's going to feel like to walk across that stage and get your check, or, whatever it is that your goal is, like feel it, breathe it, own it. So I hope that helps.
Absolutely. I think that's an awesome point. I did the thing at convention last year when they announced Leaders Retreat, because by that time I was so pumped up, right? That was like the second day or third day or whatever, the final day they announced where Leaders Retreat was going to be. And by that time I was so pumped up by convention that when they announced Leaders Retreat, I right then got my phone out and put that on my calendar in October, and I blocked those days off, and I put that I would be in Leaders Retreat in Orlando. I hadn't earned a single point. The contest hadn't started, none of that stuff. And I had never, like I said, I had never had any of that in my business, and for the years that I worked it before. And that was what, people ask me, oh, can you do this? Can you do that? I've got, a friend that got married. Don't forget my wedding is such and such. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I'll be in Orlando. and at that time I had less than 100 points, or whatever. And it absolutely is true, like that visualization and that law of attraction, and I changed my mindset. That was one of the things convention changed too for me last year, is instead of saying I plan to be, or I'm working towards, or I hope to be, I had to change all of those, and I had to throw away all of those phrases, and it had to change to I will be, I am. Those were all things that, convention really taught me as well, and absolutely has worked. So great point, Ruth.
Amazing.
Have you guys ever read the book or listened to the book, The Secret?
Mm-mm.
A long
It's
time
so
ago.
good. And it talks about, Ruth, to your point about speaking to the universe about what you want. And I mean, and it's so good because it makes so much sense.
Totally does.
Like the I wills, I am,
Yeah.
like speaking as if it's already in existence, because if you're
And it is. You couldn't dream it if it didn't already exist. Like
Right.
that was such an aha moment for me, that like everything that you want already exists out there. You just have to dream it and get into action and do what you can in your power, and allow the universe to do the rest. Like it's moving it toward you, and you have to be open to other avenues. Like it might not be just plexus, you know what I mean? It could come through another source, but you just have to be open and willing to like not be holding on so tight that you can't catch what the universe is lobbing at you, Yeah. So I think if you have an abundance attitude rather than a scarcity. So like Sarah, when you said we're poor, don't say that again. Like you need to say we have enough money.
We do. We have enough money.
but no buts.
I know what you mean, because I do that. I am so
No buts.
self-deprecating. That's my humor, and I'm really trying to stop that, because this does not help me at all.
So, sidebar. Adrienne, that is the one classroom rule that we have in my classroom, is no buts.
So there you go.
But it's like,
But
butts.
Yeah.
Because no one has gluteal tissue in our room, and so all we see is butt crack all day. So that's the only rule that we have in our classroom, is no butts.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I'm potty trained people, okay?
Full grown people. I could not figure out if that was your dog, Nicole. I was like,
It's a dog
or a
blanket.
teddy bear. I didn't know if you were getting a teddy bear. I don't know what's going on over there.
Teddy.
Good teddy bear.
Needs to be in bed.
All right, guys, are we good?
All right. I love this.
Are we gonna? Do you want to set another one of these somehow? Just people that are really going, like that are going to convention, that are serious about. I think it'd be smart for us to
do like a touch base.
Yeah. What do you guys feel like? Do you guys feel like every couple of weeks, at once like a month, once? I don't want to bombard you guys.
Yeah. Do we do it a couple days into the next month each time? Like, so the next time would be, a couple days into March.
Well, and one of the things, Nicole, we had talked about was maybe doing a half hour before the regular teams call on Sunday, so like 8 to 8:30, and then team call 8:30 to 9.
Yep.
That works for everyone.
Accountability leaders type of Zoom for the month of February. We have a cool guest, Katie Harbach. I don't know if you guys know her, but she's a model for QVC and went Fast Track Gold, and she's well on her way up, and she's going to talk to us about time management and share her story on Sunday night at 8:30. So
nice.
Jump on at 8:00 and talk about like accountability and struggles and wins and all those things. I say we do it.
I'm good.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, Steph. Thank you guys.
Thank you, guys.
Stephanie.
Guys.
Hey, thanks. And thanks for all the participation today on the points and on the page. I hope that helped you guys. It got me really pumped up, and, so we all know what each other's working on, and we can like remind each other that, hey, that's not a big enough goal. You can do bigger, and all that stuff. So thanks for all that.
Absolutely. Thank you. You guys have a good night.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Good.